You might not think it matters too much when you click on your team talk really quick and just get into the game as fast as possible, but I'm here to tell you I've got some tips that might help your team talks and win you more games. We're on the team talk screen then, and we are at home to Juventus. This is our stream save on Twitch. The link is in the description below, and I've just told the guys, have fun and enjoy the match, because Juventus are obviously a good team. Now, you will notice that Jadon Adai on the right wing and Fabian Krivac in central midfield haven't reacted to the team talk. Everyone else seems relaxed or felt the pressure lifted. That is exactly what I want. There's a few people motivated as well, but, and it sounds like a really little small minute detail, but if you guys do the team talk and let's say only 3 people react to it, now I've got quite good team cohesion, so like 9 players have reacted to it, but you might only get 3, like I said. What you need to do after that to get even more out of this is go in individuals and then tick the guys that haven't reacted and then make a difference, or anything else like that. You could try no pressure again, but because no pressure didn't work the first time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do make the difference. And there you go. Krivac appeared inspired and Jadon Adai seemed pleased. It looks like he gets along with the manager. His morale's gone up. That's what that little box means there. So what that means then is we're starting the game with 11 players that have all reacted positively to the team talk. Just be aware as well, guys, when you're doing the individual team talks, if you're a manager with a team that isn't as good, maybe you're in the 4th tier of Sweden or something like that, a lower league team, and the players have not really got the best personalities, they're not got many resolutes or professionals or model citizens or anything like that, take care when discussing individual team talks, because they might react badly to it. So you might have to learn which players you can sort of push a little bit and which players you have to be a little bit easier on, because they will get different reactions based on their personalities. Some of them, if you do it wrong, might lead to being unmotivated or stressed or looking nervous or apprehensive or worried, stuff like that, and it could lead to a goal or a mistake that leads to a goal or something, or a mischance, and it might affect your result at the end of the match. Also, if you're a newly promoted team and you want to sort of get those giant killings and you want to take down the Man Cities, or you want to get a 1-0 home win at Anfield or Old Trafford or the Emirates or something like that, the best thing to do is ask the players to have no pressure before the game. Always no pressure. It's very, very good, especially if you're away from home. And like I've just done there, 9 players out of my 11 reacted well to it. And I've got so many good results against top teams from doing that. We're into the game now then, and as you can see at the bottom of the screen, most of my players, 9 out of 11 of the players, do have little green smiley faces just underneath their jersey there. So if you click on him, my goalkeeper Melly, he seems relaxed, right? So as you can see, that is my team talk that is taking care of that. The team talk lasts for 15 minutes in game. Once the 15-minute mark is hit or a goal goes in, the team talk resets. And I'll show you what that means now. As you can see there, the 15-minute mark has hit. Very, very quiet game against Juventus, which is exactly what we want. And most of our players now have lost the little green smiley faces at the bottom. The only guys that have kept it is Chadi Riyad, motivated, Perfundi, who's motivated, and my striker, Esposito, who is motivated. If I was to do a shout from the sideline in the first 15 minutes of this game, that would have overridden my relaxed team talk before the game, and it would have encouraged them. So they would have lost the reactions to being relaxed, which is exactly what we don't want. We want to let the first 15 minutes play out with the team talk. If it's a very good one and you've got a lot of reactions from the players. If you don't, feel free to hit encourage and the game starts, because you've not really had any reactions, but leave the first 15 minutes if you've had a good team talk, because it gets the most out of it. And then once the 15-minute mark is hit like this now, feel free to hit encourage or whatever you want to do. My rule of thumb is if you're drawing, I hit encourage. If I'm losing, I hit demand more or berate. And if I'm winning, I hit praise. Now, I'm sure there's other things you guys can do. Let me know in the comments if you guys have figured anything out that works really, really well. Like maybe after a goal, you hit focus, and has that worked? I don't really do anything other than them 3 or 4 shouts, and it works for me quite well. I do think the shouts do need a rework for the new FM, but we shall see. Right now, it's working quite well this way for me. So the 15-minute mark has hit. I'm drawing 0-0, so I want to hit encourage. And as soon as I hit encourage, I'm going to resume the game, and hopefully majority, if not all of my players, have another reaction, which is very good. We always want the players to have little green faces next to their names at as many minutes as we can in the game. So we encourage, and then we hit play. Lorber is frustrated by the feedback, but 8 out of the 11 are motivated or fired up by the feedback. So that is absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Lorber, we're going to have to think about that in the future. Maybe he's not got the best personality. If we have a look at him there, he has got a balanced personality, which isn't the best. So that might be a problem in the future, and I might look to either mentor him or maybe get rid of him or just put him on the bench for someone with a better personality who is going to react better to my team talks. Obviously, now what we're doing is we're waiting until the 30th minute for that team talk to wear off, and then we can do another one up until the 45th minute at half time. And then obviously we rinse and repeat. Once half time comes, we do the halftime team talk, and then we wait until the 60th minute for another shout from the sideline. The only thing that changes this is if a goal goes in, then you can make another team talk, and it might change your players' body languages. So have a look at that. After a goal goes in, either you score one or you concede one, it might reset at the bottom. Keep an eye on the players' faces down there because you want a green ones, not red ones or purple ones. As we can see here, guys, the 34th minute, we scored a goal there. Esposito headed one in, but that's not what matters. I mean, it is, but obviously that's not what we're here for today on this video. I did do a shout from the sideline on the 30th minute. I hit encourage again, and I got, again, the same result as last time. But now we've scored a goal, it has reset the mindset. So we are 34 minutes in, 1-0 up. Now there's a few players that are pleased, confident, and pleased. What we could do is we could leave those guys who are pleased and we could just target the guys who are composed to try and get a positive reaction from them. How you would do that is, for example, Borza, my left back, who doesn't currently have any sort of reaction, we could hit touchline shouts from him and hit encourage. And we could do the same for Lorber, encourage. We could do the same for Adai, encourage. We could do the same for Rego, encourage. And like, you get my point, right? We could do the same for the goalkeeper and so on and so forth. We could leave the guys that are already in a positive mindset. What you could do, however, is you could hit praise because we've just scored against Juventus, and that might have another positive impact. There's a few things you can do. Just take into consideration all the things I'm telling you, because there's little tools you can do and little things you can help you with inside the match. So we've just hit half time. It is still 1-0, and honestly, most people at this point maybe would say pleased with the performance. Now, I am very pleased with the performance. In fact, I'm delighted with the performance. We've had one highlight in the whole entire game, and we've scored ours, which means we've been clinical, and they haven't had a sniff. What I'm going to say is I'm going to say don't get complacent. I don't like telling the players I'm really happy at halftime. Unless I'm 4 or 5-0 up, even then, I like to warn against complacency at any point I can. After games as well, if I've won by 1 or 2, if it's a team that I'm expected to beat, I will always say don't get complacent, because complacency in FM is an absolute killer. I'm going to hit don't get complacent out there. Now, sometimes what can happen here is some players get annoyed by the fact that you've said don't get complacent and they're having the game of their life, right? That can happen. I've got good personalities in my team, so they've sort of accepted it because I'm being a little bit harsh on them. I understand that, but it is for the greater good. So if that does happen and one of your players does get annoyed by this type of team talk and they're playing really well, then what you can do is you can just say you're pleased with them, and then they'll just sort of usually accept it and say, okay, that's fine, I'm happy now. What could happen as well is if one of your players doesn't like that and he's not playing well, you could double down on that. Your performance has not been acceptable so far, and he might get motivated if he's got a good personality. Obviously, all our 11 players now are very, very happy with the body language and the team talk and all that good stuff. So we're not going to make a substitution, but it's something to consider. So let's, for example, say João Rego here. He's got a yellow card. He's obviously one of our best players, but he's injured, so I'm going to take him off because the physio's suggested to. So let's take off Rego and bring on Pedrola. Now, a lot of people, again, potentially could just click confirm sub, and that's it. That's fine. But, again, if we're getting all the little gains and the percentages out of Football Manager, what you want to do is hit give team talk, and then once you're up there, you can hit make a difference or anything they pick from there. I like the top one or this one here. Plenty of time to change the game. Go out there and make it happen, because what happens there is there. Looks inspired. And then he comes on and he hits the ground running, and potentially it could be the difference again, like I mentioned at the start, between this guy setting up a goal, he could be scoring a goal himself, or he could just go absolutely bananas and he could get man of the match. You never know. So like I said, team talks can be used very, very well. They can also be ignored a lot. A lot of people use their assistant managers. I personally wouldn't do that. I would look at this video, bring these tips into your game and have a look at that, because it honestly works for me really well. As you can see, guys, we did end up winning the game there 3-1, which was absolutely fantastic. I didn't expect us to win that. Maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2, a draw, but that's a fantastic start to the season. A 0-0 draw with Inter Milan and a 3-1 win against Juventus. And again, I'm not saying it's just the team talks that's making this happen, but it's definitely something you can do to help with different things inside the match engine to make players play better, or potentially worse if you do it wrong. We're at the end game team talk then, guys, and like I said before, usually I would say you've played very well today, but don't get complacent. But It's the second game of the season, and I want morale to be as high as possible. We haven't really played enough games, because it's the second game, to get complacent just yet. So I want us to get his morale up so we can sort of steamroll and get a good lead in the league. So I'm going to say I'm very happy with the result and the way you play, guys, and everyone there has reacted really well. Obviously, Daniel Daga there, he's nervous, but he's a young player. That's absolutely fine. But everyone that's had a little bit of to do in this game, everyone that's played any sort of minutes is either happy, pleased, or positively chuffed, apparently, which is very, very English. After the game's finished, guys, you want to head over to the dynamic screen, hit Team Talk Feedback, and then have a look at what happened. So pre-match, this is what happened. So I obviously said pressure is off and appreciated the calming words. Perfundi didn't really get a Team Talk feedback reason, or a Esposito, like I mentioned at the start. Those guys didn't really get anything. As you can see here, Jaden Adai, his Team Talk effect for him said looked ready to go, looked happier, and he's pleased. And the reason was he gets on well with me, but he didn't react initially, did he, to the Team Talk. I had to go in there and do it individually to him. So I said, obviously, I trust you and stuff like that. And that is what gave him the effect. And he did score a goal. Now, I'm not saying that comes directly from that, but he played well. He's a good player, so he might have played well anyway. But I like to think if that happens and you can do all that and you can get all these little percentages like I mentioned before, then there's no reason why you can't get any even more from the Team Talk. So, like I said, that's pre-match. You can go to half-time, see exactly what you said. You can see exactly the Team Talk effect and the Team Talk feedback reason. So, a few people here said they appreciated being challenged by the manager. That'll be because they've got good personalities, so they like being challenged. Seemed determined to respond again, good determination, and you can have a look as well at the full time. So obviously appreciated the positive feedback. Morale boost, looked delighted, looked ready to go, looked happier, pleased, chuffed. Just keep having a look at this screen after every couple of games. And what you might notice is after maybe a good run, 4 or 5 wins in a row, you might start getting people that are looking complacent, especially if you're not warning them against it after matches. If you're just going to the end of the game and you're just picking what your assistant manager wants and it's always saying that you're very pleased with the players after the games, then you might see some complacency drop in to your team. So keep an eye out for that because it might affect the run going forward and you might start losing games. So keep an eye on that too. And that is all my Team Talk tips, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like on the video. If you like the channel, leave a subscription on the channel. That would be amazing. And until next time, I'll catch you then. Goodbye.